You have reached your destination.
Yep. So here's today's work. I was test fitting this thing on the car over there, and I found that the gap at the bottom was quite big, quite big. Not necessarily coverable with a seal or whatnot. When I measured, I found I found that there was a pretty big difference between the middle of that opening and the other ends. So that's probably because I fell into it once and bent up the metal. So what you can kind of see, I've done relief cuts, like 3 or 4 of these things. Put it back on the car and bent everything down to where it needed to be, and added more fiberglass to strengthen it. After it's all said and done, I'm going to place this third brake light on the outside of it, for appearances and safety. I'm considering sending it into the back here, so it's all one smooth. What would you call it? One smooth plane, and we'll see. I also thought about putting that brake light here in the top of the window arch, but the geometry doesn't work, and it doesn't look good, I don't think. Yeah. And if I just place it on the inside so it's up against the window once it's finally in, once it's in, right? And I don't want to do that either. So, show you from the other side. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 relief cuts, and once that's done and cured, I'll fill those. Also, I may put another layer of fiberglass on the back where it can't be seen. Again, for rigidity and so forth. So I guess we'll see. I'm frankly out of fiberglass. I bought more, but I'll be goddamned if I can find it. That's sort of a life, right? Buy things and then they just disappear on me. I just may buy more and put one more layer on there for the effect. Well, not the effect, for strength. Yeah. Okay, so everything fits more or less nicely, right? Ends going where they should, bottoms touching the actual car, yada yada yada. This is where I was thinking about putting that sucker. I don't like it there, honestly. I think what I'm going to do is put it here. I'm going to pause and see if I can clip it up so you can see it. And that's the center line. I've already measured all that stuff out. I'd put it up maybe, well, as you can always, that line there is as far up as that chrome strip went. So I would have it up a few inches, of course, so that it would fit. I think I'm going to do it here, honestly, instead of down here, where I'm going to weaken all of that, unless I put a really thick, stout strip of something in there. And I don't want to do that. So I think this is where I'm going to put that brake light, that third brake light. So I'll drill the holes, and there she blows. All right, so I've drilled those holes in the back. I'm redoing the front. As you can see, I've got a nice even sharp edge here. I used painter's tape and then put in some fiberglass. I'm going to shape that down, maybe put another layer on there just to cover the front, and then I'm going to call it a day once it looks nice and pretty. Taking tomorrow off, that's Martin Luther King Day, and I'm going to finish, I think, any body work, and then paint this little puppy. God love you to all the Bostonians and New Yorkers and everybody who's getting some snow. We've got clear skies here, so maybe some rain tomorrow. Hopefully it's more, but yeah, there's the holes. That's Did I put those on the right? Yeah, that's centered. Okay. Anyway, so there's not a whole lot more left to do. I've got... Oh, whoops. That's nice. A little bit of that to come back through, but I will hose this down big time. After it's done, all the bodywork is done, I'm going to literally wash it down with a scrub brush, a nice brush, something, anyway, and then get all the dust off, right? And then we'll see from there. Yep. Okay, it's the next day. I've done some sanding here, and I wanted to point out how important it is to have straight lines, because if you don't, you end up with obvious signs of bodywork under your paint job, and that's not what you want. So draw your eye to the dark green. Okay, that's unsanded fiberglass. When you start sanding on bodywork, you want a straight edge of some sort. Some people use rulers. I use these Durablocks. I don't use that cat. And I have a whole range of these things, right? And from curved surfaces to long, thin ones, long, wide ones, on and on. These are important because they then show up all of your low spots. I'm going to fill those. I'm out of painter's tape, so I might as well hit the big box store and pick up more while that cures. And yeah, I think I'll have bodywork done by the end of today. Like I said, I'll scrub it down with soap and water and then do primer. Oh yeah. Okay, so right quick, everything that I've got here for bodywork, all this fiberglass, Bondo especially, tends to suck in, absorb, and then discolor the primer that you're using. So you got to put on multiple coats to cover it up. There are primer sealers for this. Bodywork sealers, I didn't buy any because this is just straight fiberglass. I didn't want to necessarily go down quite that path. So I'm going to use, let's see, where is it? Flat black. Okay, once that goes in there, I'll put a couple coats into that fiberglass and the other parts that, you know, have got some body filler, all fiberglass, but that will absorb. And when I go to prime the darn thing, you won't see any difference. So that means I'm not going to waste any primer. Excuse me. I won't waste any primer, and I'll be able to use as little as possible because I'm going to have some body work, some paint work, that is. So I'll spend a lot of time block sanding. There you go. The primer coat, block sanding, the primer coat after that, and on and on. So I want as much coverage as I possibly can off of one can, and as little waste as I can. And then in subsequent videos, you will see why. I also had forgotten that I've been doing some work on the back end here. That's a mark, not a cut, but I've smoothed out a whole lot of stuff on this as well. I'll be spray painting that in a second. I'll sponge it off, make sure all the dust is gone, and then the sides as well. It's actually snowing outside. I'll show it at the end here, but what's next here is once the flat black, zoom in, that junk there, oops, goes on. Actually, I do have one more step. I'm going to measure the opening top to bottom of that window and make sure it's consistent across the board. I think it's just a little bit high here, for example, but I want it within about 1/8 of an inch. It's going to make the window production easier for me. And I need to smooth out some of the edges there. You can see they're kind of choppy compared to over there. Okay, so after I'm done with that, and that won't take long, I will spray paint all of that there, and then I'll wash it down. I'll show you how the front looks. It absorbed really nicely into that fiberglass. The fiberglass, what do you call it? Bodywork I've been doing. So I may do the whole roof here just sponge it down here in the garage. Wow, it's coming pretty good out there. I'm gonna stop. Yeah, screw it. You'll see it later. And this is more or less done. I'm gonna stop for the day. Post this. Oh, I see some. Yeah, whatever. I'll fix it later. I'm gonna post this. I'm gonna let this dry overnight. I'm gonna clean the shit out of it, and then, like I say, like I've done here, I'm gonna paint up all of the pieces that are the bits that have bodywork to let it absorb, right? And then I'm gonna prime it. So, yeah, not bad. That's not a hole. And there we go. So, enough for now.